That is a little statue given to me by one of my high school teacher, Miss Jane Kennegal. Very good friend, very good art teacher. She brought that back for me a couple of years ago. Now, you can see that unfortunately the statues picked up a little bit of a nicked ear and a nicked tail. Uh, for those of you who are watching this and you're visually impaired, that's a little statue about a little bit smaller than the size of your hand, and it is, I believe, it's stone, and it's a llama. It's a statue of a llama. Uh, it was still in perfect condition this morning, but while setting up for this video diary, it had a little accident. So, so unfortunately, it got chipped. But it is a very nice statue. This is a little figurine of Deadpool. Those of you who watch Marvel superhero movies, you know that's Deadpool. Uh, give you a side view. I hope you guys can see it. That's the problem with setting things up blind. Sometimes you don't really know what it's going to look like. But I think you should be able to see this. That's Deadpool, and this here, Black Panther. Let me move that out of the way. Now, look, that. Now we side by side. This two figurine came from my good friend Wesley last Christmas. That was his birthday gift and Christmas gift for me. This pair of Marvel superhero figurine. And since I already handled this, might as well talk about this one. This is Big Baba, my super-sized giant coffee cup. Uh, give you an idea of how truly massive this is. This is it next to my head. Yay, Big Baba. Uh, big guy need big coffee cup, especially someone like me who drink a lot of coffee. This one's from my beautiful girlfriend and her mother uh, for my birthday gift last year. You know, set that aside, quickly making sure that the camera is sorry about the jostling. I'm just wanting to make sure that the camera and the displays are lined up properly. There we go. This wooden frog came from my good friend Wayne. Years ago, he traveled to Thailand and he brought this back for me. Apparently, they have someone on the side of the road carved this, and they come in all sizes. Some of you probably seen them in Oriental stores. Now, if you are wondering why there's a stick sticking out of the side of the frog, let me show you. You take this, you put the frog on your hand, run the stick up along its back. Sounds kind of like a frog. Our next item, those of you who watch movies, if you've seen Pacific Rim, you would recognize this guy. That is Gypsy Danger, action figure of Gypsy Danger, the protagonist robot in the Pacific Rim movie. That came from my good friend and co-workers, bosses, Ian and Darren. If you guys seen this, thank you. Uh, this was my birthday gift, Christmas gift. Uh, I believe 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. It actually came in a two-pack. It was a villain, the kaiju leatherback that came with it. But we are not going to showcase that guy today. We're just giving you a view of Gypsy Danger. Set him aside, or actually, technically, it's a her. This is a padded training stick that my good friend Lenny made for me and my martial arts class before he sadly passed away. Uh, God rest his soul. He made this stick and actually quite a few of our other training practice equipment. So Lenny was very handy with tools and stuff like that. This here is a training karambit. This is a gift from my sensei and good friend Alan Galang, who trained me in Krav Maga and many other things, and has been one of the best friends a person can have. Let's turn that music down a little bit. Alexa, volume 2. That's the problem with Alexa. When it switch track like that, sometimes it's a lot louder all of a sudden. This gorgeous piece of sculpture. Let me realign this. This is a handcrafted. Let me turn it around so you can see the front. Like a little post office. This is it's really nice. The workmanship on this is very very fine. This came from again my beautiful girlfriend and her mother as part of my Christmas birthday gift. Put that aside. A couple more and then we're done. This here, the K-bar thin tanto knife. Very good in the hand. Feels very good in the hand. I'm going to probably review this at a later date. I'm just giving you guys a view of this right now. This came from my good friend Richard. Richard and I, we have this tradition that we send each other a new knife every year around Christmas time. So this was one of the ones he gave me. This was a gift he gave me last year. Beautiful knife. Very stout blade, strong. Uh, just all around a very good tool to have. And last but not least, this is a Chris knife, or some people would say this is actually big enough to be a short sword. This was given to me by my mom when I was like 17 years old. Back then, this cost $380. Beautiful, beautiful artistry on this. It has a dragon-shaped handle, uh, wings, and claw, and that wavy blade profile, just very nice. Now, some people will say that this is a decorative piece, which is, yes, it's very uh, artistic, very stylish, but it's actually quite functional. I've chopped wood with this before, and it held up really, really good, despite of all the things, all the damages I tried to put it through. It's a fine piece of hardware. Now, it looks a little dirty on the side, yes, a little bit grungy because it actually doesn't have a sheath. So when it's on display, it uh, pick up a lot of dust while it's hanging on the wall. The dust tend to get attracted to it and stick to it because of the oil I put on the blade. But it's really sharp, uh, and like you can see, wicked spikes on the spine of this thing. Very good. So why did I just give you a little show and tell tour of my various gifts? Well, there's several purposes, but the primary purpose is this is Toy Thursday. Toy Thursday will be uh, when I talk about some past gift and something from my collection, and generally do a bit of show and tell and product review, and so on and so on. This is week 5 of the coronavirus quarantine stay at home. This is April 16, 2020, and I am, well, you know who I am. I'm Johnny Tiger. um, So yeah, like I said, every Thursday is when I'm going to pick something out of my collection, and we are going to talk a little bit about them, whether it be a sentimental value or personal preferences, and so on and so on. Quite often, I do these little reviews on the Johnny Tiger Experience podcast as well. So if you are interested, go hit up the Johnny Tiger Experience podcast, and you will find more cool knives and swords and toys, review airsoft guns and stuff like that. Um, Now, I usually don't feel very comfortable doing action figure or toy reviews on video because I feel that being blind, I always have something that I'm going to miss in the paint details, in the coloration. Uh, if this action figure look like the movie counterparts, and so on and so on. So that make me feel a bit uncomfortable and self-conscious when I review these things. So rather than giving you guys a non-biased, detailed review, I'll most be talking about my own impression and how I feel about these things. Now, I've been asked this many times, and I'm going to answer these questions and then we'll call this a night. Since I already showed you quite a few things today. Um, I've been asked before, why would a blind person collect action figures and toys? Um, it's actually more complicated and more deep than a lot of people imagine. When I was little, growing up as a blind kid, I had a lot of problem getting assimilated into pop culture. A lot of time people talk about Superman and Batman and Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I had no idea what they were talking about. I had no idea what the characters looked like and stuff like that. So I felt I couldn't get into the conversation. So to compensate for that, my mother started buying me a lot of action figures and toys, and she would actually sit down with me. Sometimes my dad would do that too. And said, "Here, this is what Superman feels like. Just multiply that by 6 times, and you get an idea. And this is what a dragon feels like, and, and so on and so on." So gradually, it became a gateway for me to get to know the world around me, for me to blend in with my sighted peers. So I know what they're talking about. So I would have my own opinion on. I like Batman better because Batman has better body shape than Superman, or I don't like this character that much because this character's body shape feels weird, and so on and so on. I can form my own opinion on the pop culture subject. Now, another question I get asked very often is why would a blind person collect weapons? Isn't that kind of dangerous? Aren't you going to hurt yourself? Well, the answer is, well, yes, I have hurt myself before. Um, handling a very sharp knife, like something like this, if you're not careful, you're going to hurt yourself. Yeah, but I think that has nothing to do with being blind. I think those of you who are sighted and collect weapons, I'm sure every single one of you have hurt yourself before. So I don't believe that is exclusive to being blind. Uh, the answer why I would collect weapons is because I'm a self-defense guy. I'm a martial art guy. I need to work with weapons. I need to teach people about weapons. And what better way to do so than to handle them myself and to know what they feel like and to actually work with them? That is the quickest answer I can give you. There's another reason why I am particularly fond of knives. It's because to me, knives is one of the oldest artifacts in human society. To me, when I'm handling a knife, when I'm working with knives, I feel like I'm working with a piece of evolution. I feel like I'm working with a piece of human history. That this tool, this knife, no matter what kind of shape, what kind of size, something like this has been with us all throughout human history, ever since we learned to take a piece of rock and beat it to form a sharp edge. It made me feel good. I feel involved and proud that we as human beings have made or learned to make something this long lasting and is still using it today. So, I guess that's it for tonight. As I said, every Thursday we are going to take a more focused view of something in my collection. For now, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe, and have a good evening.